Hey there, sweets, and welcome to the first episode of my Myths and Lore series. Before we begin, I want to thank you for watching and hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. You can find me on some of your social media sites and subreddits. The links will be in the description below. Now, without further ado, let us sit back, grab your sweets, as Taffy takes you on a journey. Legends tell of a tome of magic, wherein all the secrets of the world can be found, where the spells to change the fabric of reality are written, and where the knowledge to master death is inscribed. The legends understate reality. So powerful is this book, that the mere flipping of pages sets the gods on edge. This lexicon was no product of happenstance. Every incantation, every inflection, was carefully crafted by a God beyond comprehension. A wisdom so transcendent, he willed himself into being. He is Thoth, the scribe of secrets. 3 great battles there have been, and at each Thoth was present, aiding the forces of order to triumph over chaos. When Ra faced the world serpent Apep for the final time, Thoth's spell shielded Ra against the reptile. When Osiris was dismembered by his brother Set, Thoth taught Isis the incantations to reassemble him. And when Horus, the child of Isis and Osiris, battled Set once again for control of the kingdom, Thoth's ritual cleansed the young man of Set's vilest of poisons. All the secrets, the power, the wisdom of the universe, Thoth has placed into this book. He is the guardian of this knowledge, invoking it only to save the world, to keep it from descending into disorder. The wisest of the Egyptian gods was Thoth, the baboon and ibis god of the moon. Though the name Thoth is actually the Greek version of this god's name, derived from the letters Daughty. This deity had many different names throughout the centuries in which ancient Egypt flourished. Some of these names include Aston, Tahuti, Tetu, Sheps, Lord of the Kamenu, Zehuti, and more. This Egyptian god is considered to be one of the most important members within the ancient Egyptian god circle. Throughout time, he's had many roles in Egypt's mythology. Some of these include maintaining the universe, standing as debater through disputes among the other gods, and the judgment of those who die. Ancient Egyptians associated this powerful deity with many things, including the mind, science, logic, intelligence, knowledge, writing, and reason. Thoth was the god who overcame the curse of Ra, allowing Nut to give birth to her 5 children. It was he who helped Isis work the ritual to bring Osiris back from the dead, and who drove the magical poison of Set from her son, Horus, with the power of his magic. He was Horus's supporter during the young god's deadly battle with his uncle Set, helping Horus with his wisdom and magic, and who brought Tefnuit, who left Egypt for Nubia, back to the heavens to be reunited with Ra. Though this god has many depictions, his most favoured of all is the one as being depicted as a human with the head of an ibis, which is a long slender bird with a curved beak. This curved beak is said to represent the curve of the moon. Ancient Egyptians believed Thoth had no parents, but rather with all his power willed himself into being, and some say he made the calculations for the creation of the heavens and earth and all that reside within. Though Thoth was originally regarded as the moon god, over time Egyptians placed even more importance of his role, and he had numerous within Egyptian myths. His main temple was in the city of Kmun. Later, the Greeks would call this city Hermopolis Magna. According to Egyptian mythology, this ancient deity was supposed to have written numerous texts, collectively called the Book of Thoth, which contained all the secrets of the universe. Whomever read it would obtain incredible magical powers, but would also be cursed to live a life of tragedy. Thoth was said to be the inventor of the hieroglyphic writing we know today, and the Egyptians believed he gave them this as a gift. The Egyptians believed Thoth was the secretary and counselor of the most important god in Egypt, Ra, the god of light. In some Egyptian mythology, Thoth stood next to Ra on Ra's boat on his nightly trip across the sky. Pharaoh Jehuti, who ruled Upper Egypt during the Second Intermediate Period, around 1650 BC, was named after Thoth. A very ancient legend, set in this time when Ra lived on earth as king of Egypt, tells of how Tefnut became estranged from her father and fled into Nubia. The cause of the rift between father and daughter is yet unknown. However, once Tefnut reached Nubia, she transformed herself into a lioness and raged throughout the land, emitting flames from her eyes and nostrils, drinking blood and feeding on flesh of both animals and humans. Ra missed his eye, Tefnut, and longed to see her again. He sent for Shu and for Thoth, the messenger of the gods, famed for his eloquence, and commanded them to go to Nubia and bring back his daughter. Shu and Thoth, having first disguised themselves as baboons, set off for Nubia. Thoth found Tefnut in Bugam and tried to persuade her to return to Egypt. At first, she refused. She had begun to enjoy herself hunting in the desert. Thoth preserved and painted for her a picture of the gloom that had descended on Egypt because of her absence. He promised her that the game that she now had to hunt for herself would be piled high on the altar that the Egyptians would build for her in gratitude if only she would return to them. At last, Tefnut agreed to accompany Thoth and Shu back to Egypt, and the two baboons led her home amidst great rejoicing. Attended by the great throng of Nubian musicians, dancers, and baboons, Tefnut made a triumphant progress from one city to another, until finally she was welcomed home by Ra himself and restored to her rightful position as his eye. Many ancient Greeks noticed that Thoth had several things in common with their god Hermes. Both gods were gods involved with writing and magic. This led some ancient Greeks to combine the two gods into one deity they called Hermes Trismegistus. Thoth is the Egyptian god of knowledge, the scribe of the gods. Our journey for now must come to a halt. If you made it to the end, I thank you with all my heart. I'm grateful that you took this journey with me. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until the next journey, stay sweet.